the shape, the formation, the work rate, the physicality.
Yeah.
They're a great football team. They're a great football team. And it just shows how good Sundowns are.
But is it all lost for ES Tunis?
No, it's not finished.
We just spoke to their fans now.
Yeah.
We bump into them.
Somehow.
It's crazy, yeah. And they're already here in the country, so it just goes to show you.
They're here for Saturday.
Yeah.
They're going to be in Pretoria on Saturday to support their team. You have to go and turn 2-1 around against Bayern Munich
Pick
in
one
the Champions League. Pick one team. Real Madrid every time. Say pick 10 teams, I'll just pick Real Madrid 10 times.
Yeah. No,
even this Real Madrid.
Yeah, no, bro, you can't write off Real Madrid.
No.
You do that on your own peril.
Yeah. In terms of a manager, your understanding of the game, there's no difference.
There's no difference.
So women should be able to manage in the men's game, and
if they are capable.
There's enough men managing in the women's game.
Of course, yeah.
You know? So
that shouldn't be a problem.
Shouldn't be a problem.
In fact, it's a shame that we only have one
in major leagues.
In
the world.
Yeah.
Silver medals calling once again for Arsenal and Orlando Pirates, and the Champions League is about to wrap up its quarterfinals. This is Black and White Boots.
Yeah, bro.
My brother, you've been saying to me for 2 weeks now, you're like, it's finished.
Yeah, no.
This Sundowns don't lose games at this point. Pirates, we said last week. And by the way, thank you everyone on TikTok, 10,000 followers.
Oh, yeah. Tango, following us, yeah.
But our out of context reels there, the hate we get. How can you say that Sundowns needs to win every game when you say you're not even talking about Pirates? Guys, before we said that, we said Pirates have to win every game.
They can't afford to drop points. You know, so yeah, it's crazy how we are taken out of context just based on small clips. But hey, guys, please follow us, Black and White Boots on podcast. You know, go on YouTube, follow, like, subscribe. Yeah,
please. And anyway, Orlando Pirates, we said they've got 8 cup finals. Now they really have 7 cup finals because the draw is not good enough.
A draw is not good enough.
And okay, great game.
It is like in a contest of football. It was a great game for a Pirates fan. Oof.
And if you're not gonna lose, if you're not gonna win, don't lose.
Don't lose,
right?
At least you give yourself a slim chance.
You give yourself a little.
It's a little bit,
but the table doesn't lie. Sundowns are a point ahead with a game in hand.
Yeah,
it gives them nice breathing room.
Yeah, it does. It does. It gets the pressure off them. They don't have to, like, you know, they're in their KEF business right now, so they don't have to worry about that at all.
And Amazulu's not easy opposition for Orlando Pirates, but they have to win that one. And then later this month is Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so Orlando Pirates, it feels like it's gone.
It feels like it's gone. Realistically, there's still football to be played, but we're talking about Sundowns here, and we're going to sound like a broken record because we're saying same thing week in, week out, that Sundowns doesn't look like it's a team that is going to go and lose points. And Orlando Pirates played on Tuesday, and then they played again on Friday for the first time. And then they failed to get maximum points.
Right. So
do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You know, Sundowns has been doing it week in, week out, playing on Tuesday and Friday and getting maximum points. And that coupled with KEF, it just goes to show you.
I saw a comment on one of our social media posts saying that the PSL is trying to sabotage Mamelodi Sundowns' run at the league title.
So that Pirates
trying to guarantee Pirates to win it with the fixture, without adjusting the fixtures for their CAF Champions League commitments.
Yeah, but this other fixture they refused because I think they wanted to be on the same number of games before they head to Champions League. I stand to be corrected, but from what I read, they refused to.
And they won 1-0 and went and played Champions League and won 1-0.
But you know how I dispel that notion? Pirates has not won Premier League, Premiership in like, I think 14 years. What would cause us that now? If that's what they are leading to. You get what I'm saying? Like, for 14 years, Paris is a massive club. For 14 years, they have not won the league. Surely.
Between then and now,
there
you would have been more obvious signs of trying to sabotage.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think Sundowns.
Maybe the only argument now is that it's the closest. It's close this time. It has
always been this close. It's just that this time around, the second round of the season, we did not lose the games. We just drew. We drew against Kuku, and again we drew against Richards Bay. The other season we start losing during this time of the season, you know. So I think that is just ridiculous. There's no such thing, bro.
It's a Kaizer Chiefs fan, that. I would say a Sundowns fan, but there aren't any.
Yeah. No, there's 57. Come on, bro.
Speaking of Kaizer Chiefs fans and their glee at Orlando Pirates not winning the league, already had their signs out at the weekend's game. Congratulations, Mamelodi Sundowns, on being Betway Premiership champions. The Kaizer Chiefs fans having a dig at Orlando Pirates fans.
Yeah. Look, for me, it's like, where did Pirates go wrong, if I may ask? You know, I don't know, Marco. I just think it's one of those things where they don't win when it matters the most. You know, the game against Kukuni were not supposed to draw, you know. The first 2 games of the season, and I always reference those 2 games, we were not supposed to lose the first 2 games of the season because the season had just started. We're coming from a relatively good season the previous season. We should have just continued with the momentum, and I think Coach Wadu killed himself. Yes, he managed to get the team back together, but
they're a better side than they were under Riviera.
I think it's more,
maybe less consistent, but they play better football.
Yeah, perhaps, but I think this team, it's more. It's I think it's slightly more consistent than Ribeiro's team in the last season. You know, looking at number of games, I think they've lost. They've won a lot of games this season. I think the biggest issue with Coach Wadu is that he's not getting results when it matters the most. You know, and goals were coming, and then all of a sudden we go to Richards Bay. We find ourselves trailing, you know.
But to be fair, it's 2 wonder strikes from outside the box.
It's
2 great goals that you've conceded. Pirates have the capability to outscore teams, and they haven't been outscoring them. I think that's the problem. Is that one week you can score 6 goals.
Yeah.
They probably could score 6 goals most weeks.
Yeah.
If they really put it in, you know. And maybe, I don't know. It's so tough when you have that sort of pressure of being a massive club that hasn't won the league in a long time. And I feel like I'm going to say this a bit later again for Arsenal, but you're a massive club. It's been so long since your club has won the league.
Yeah.
You're this close. You're in the driver's seat at the run-in of the pressure must be immense. And I wonder if that's like, just that pressure is so hard to deal with. Whereas when you're a Mamelodi Sundowns player or a Manchester City player, like I said, I'll allude to that as well. This is standard procedure.
Yeah,
You've done this the last few years. You know, the pressure's off a little bit. And also no one was expecting you in January. No one was expecting you to go win the league.
Of course.
And maybe that helps. It's like now you've got the momentum. You're scoring goals. You're winning games. And I think it just makes it so much easier. And that's the only thing I can say about Orlando Pirates is that they should have won the league. The league should still be in their hands, and it's not anymore.
It's not anymore, and it's gonna take a miracle to get back to it. You know, and a lot of like Orlando Pirates are hoping that Polokwane City sort of like maybe could get results against Mamelodi Sundowns because they still have to play them twice. And Polokwane City, in that old Peter Mugabe there, it's a difficult team to play with. So we'll see. We can't really.
Don't both face Chiefs still to come?
They still, yeah. It's Kaizer Chiefs, bro.
It's Kaizer Chiefs, bro.
Yeah,
they don't beat Sundowns and they don't beat Pirates.
Yeah, well, We don't know. I think with the way that they're going with their business now, you know, when Chiefs, when there's no pressure, yes, they just...
But it's straight after each other almost. So 26th of April is Chiefs Pirates. Then there's a couple fixtures in between.
Yeah.
And then it's on the 6th of May is Chiefs Sundowns.
Yeah. By then the league could have concluded, don't you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because, I mean, there's only 6 games left for Pirates, 7 games left for Sundowns.
Yeah.
Sundowns are to maybe get a draw along the way there, maybe in Polokwane at the Peter Mokaba. You know, there might be a draw. Then it's still wide open, especially depending on...
But the draw is not good enough. Pirates need Sundowns to lose at least a game.
No, one draw is not good enough.
Yeah, one draw is not good enough.
But if they draw one...
A draw was good enough before Friday.
But let's say a draw in Polokwane and then Kaizer Chiefs come do Pirates a favor.
It's possible. Chiefs, I mean, we've seen. I mean, I think first round they drew. I think 1-1. I can't remember. Yeah, but first round they drew. So it's possible that Chiefs can hold Sundowns. But I hate this kind of permutations. You know? Like now we're doing permutations. Why did we not just win our games?
No. It's the unfortunate position that Pirates now found themselves in.
Yeah.
Speaking about Kaizer Chiefs. This is a good springboard for next season, I think. I know that there's a lot of negativity around Chiefs and everything, and I think it's because some of the fans, because Chiefs is a massive club. Fans get a bit carried away. I remember before the season started, I was putting petrol in my car, and one of the guys there was talking about Chiefs to a friend, and I was like, excuse me? It's like, we're winning the league this season. I'm like,
hey, my guy, it's not that easy.
Slow your roll, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a good springboard for Chiefs, considering that they weren't even in the top 8 last season.
Yeah, no, definitely.
To now be like well within favorites. They're already 3 points clear of AmaZulu in 4th.
Yeah. And I think they have a game in hand.
They have 2 games in hand.
Yeah.
So Kaizer Chiefs almost a shoe-in. 3rd place is theirs.
Yeah, and
they're not going to catch the top 2. We know that's not this season. But they had maybe a disappointing last bit to not be qualified for CAF Confederations Cup for the next stages.
Yeah.
But they performed well in the tournament, and they only just didn't make it through to the next round.
Yeah, of course.
So they had a good run in CAF Confederations Cup. 3rd place is, you're back in the top 3 where you belong in South African football in terms of the league. And, okay, the Nedbank Cup will be a disappointment because they would have hoped to go further in that, to defend that. But you look at the big teams around them, they also didn't go anywhere in the Nedbank Cup.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, it's, it's a good springboard for next season, isn't it?
It's definitely, beside the top 8, finishing 3rd guarantees them a place in CAF Confederation Cup again. So I think it would be something that they'll be targeting because obviously, like you mentioned, top 2 is already sort of like sealed, so they're not going to catch those 2, I don't think. But for Kaizer Chiefs, who did not finish inside the top 8 the previous season and to finish within top 8 this season, I think it's tremendous.
Yeah. I mean, top 8 is not an ambition for Kaizer Chiefs. They're too big a club to be talking top 8.
Yeah, no.
Top 3 is the minimum for a club of its stature. Needs to finish at least 3rd every season. Yeah. And it's a good springboard to be back there to now carry the confidence in and be like, right, now the next step. Now we push on.
Yeah.
Now we get better, we improve, and we do 1 better next season or 2 better next season.
Yeah, but for me, Kaizer Chiefs, what boggles my mind with Kaizer Chiefs is how when there's like sort of no pressure, everybody just like, it's done. The season is done. Kaizer Chiefs did not have a good season. All of a sudden, they're performing. I just feel like this crop of players that they have, I think they tank under pressure. And when the pressure is a little bit off, they tend to do well. So which means their quality, they've got quality in their squad. It's just a mentality thing that they need to work on. And if they can get that right, I think next season Chiefs can contest for a lot of things.
To be fair, Chiefs have had no leadership for the past, as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Whereas the manager, there's no faith in any of the managers.
Yeah, and the manager comes,
the manager comes, language. Next manager goes.
Yeah.
The next manager comes in, can't speak the language, goes. You've got 2 co-coach previous assistants for somebody now as the manager. There's no leadership there.
Yeah.
But there's quality in the side, and that's why they can still be 3rd in a tough league.
Yeah.
And I think, it just goes to show you, you know, put a good manager in there, someone with some good experience, and put faith in the coach or the manager. Put some good faith in him, and you know, the sky's the limit for Kaizer Chiefs, essentially.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Really,
I agree with you fully.
You look how well Orlando Pirates is doing at the moment. Yes, we were just speaking negatively, but it's just because of what the ambitions were.
Yeah.
The ambitions were to win the league.
Of course.
And
I think for a team like Orlando Pirates coming so close last season, this was the season where they thought, okay.
But even if they don't win this season, they're going to be right there. It's going to be close come the end of the season. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be super close.
Yeah.
So I think that Kaizer Chiefs their ambition needs to be that. They need to be there next season. I don't think that we should be looking in.
They've got quality. I mean, you look at Mabu, he just shown us over the weekend that he still has it in him, you know, winning man of the match and the manner in which he was playing. So they've quality. I think the more than anything, it's just the belief that they need to instill in the players. Because I feel like their players they just lack that EMT,
but some stability as well.
Yeah, stability goes a long way.
A long way. An unstable club rather is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. But look, I think if they get a new manager, things might be slightly different from this season, next season.
As long as that manager feels like he's backed, I think it's important.
Yeah, there's that as well. It's one thing to
hear the rumors already from the very beginning already that somebody at the top's not happy. And
exactly.
Need a manager who thinks 3 years from now I'm still going to be at Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
You know, and then he can really commit. Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah.
You know, all the bad things we've been saying about everybody else, you can't say about Mamelodi Sundowns. And it was a few weeks ago. Yeah. It's not even that long ago that we were talking about Coach Cardoso. And we're like, is he going to survive? You know, the ambitions of Mamelodi Sundowns, it looks like they're not going to win the league. And if you don't win the league, you're going to get the sack. Like, now they're in a great position to be in a CAF Champions League final once again.
Yeah.
They're in a great position to win the league again.
Of course, yeah.
He's clearly not all bad.
He's not all bad. And we saw over the weekend, you know, he's a manager that is willing to change slightly to adapt to situations. Because when you look at that game against ES Tunis, you can tell that Coach Cardoso approached that game with one thing in mind: don't concede. Let's absorb the pressure and
more of the ball.
You know, and opportunities are going to be presented. There might be very little opportunities that we get, but because we are clinical and we Mamelodi Sundowns, we're more likely going to convert. And Lord behold, they got only 2 chances. Like, one was a goal. You know, and they're coming back with a very, very good advantage over ES Tunis. So I think they're in a very good position to advance to the final. Because ES Tunis is a very, very good side. We've seen how they play. They hardly set a foot wrong. They were just not clinical in front of the goals. I think they had almost like 17 shots and
had hit a post, a couple good saves. Yeah. You know, they had one goal disallowed because of the foul on Ronwin. So, good game. The only thing I didn't like about the game again was the lasers. You know, it's always terrible when you go to North Africa and those lasers are coming out and they're in player's face. The referee's looking at the VAR screen. He's got a laser in his eyes.
Yeah.
You know, so typical of it. But besides that, like not a great entertaining game in the same way as the Richards Bay Pirates game, which was like course. Entertaining.
Look, it's semi-finals of CAF Champions League.
It's going to be KJ or whatever. But if you're a lover of football from a technical standpoint, it was a great game.
Yeah,
it was a great game. That Esperance Tunis, they are disciplined.
They're disciplined.
The discipline, the shape, the formation, the work rate, the physicality.
Yeah.
They're a great football team. They're a great football team. And it just shows how good Sundowns are to cope with the quality of that side. And then, I was looking through the Sundowns ranks and you almost like forget, like while you're going through it, you're like, there's so much quality in this side. I mean, it's no surprise that Sundowns spend the most money every season when you see the quality of the team that they've got.
Agreed.
You know, it's like they're not just buying whoever for whatever's sake. These are good players.
These are good players that fit their their style. They lost Ribeiro, who was terrorizing everybody last season. And they got now a Leon, who sort of like pick up where Ribeiro left. So Sundowns really knows how to go and market in terms of acquiring players. And we saw yesterday the importance of the quality in their squad. You still have a player like Grant Kekana in defense, partnering with Cupido, making like match-saving tackles. And let's not talk about Mulalo because, geez, he's class, and, when I said...
and he struggled in the early stages of the game and then he improved.
Yeah, no,
and it just shows you the mentality of a class player, of like a real top player.
Yeah, and, that Sundowns team is just, I think it's just well-rounded, and I think they are ticking at the right time, which I've always said that during this season, Sundowns is a very hard team to beat. You look at that game on Sunday, you can't help but appreciate the all-roundness of that team in terms of how the players carried themselves, how they defended, in terms of protecting the lead. You saw, I think Mulalo went on to the coach to say, we rather bring on a defender instead of making a change to bring in a striker. All those things, and Coach Cardo's actual following through with that. It just goes to show you that team is united, and whatever the players were seeing, the coach sort of like agreed with them, because sometimes players see things that a coach might not see in the field. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show you that team is like well-rounded, and they're singing in one voice, and they actually want this second star for themselves.
No PSL action for them this weekend. Of course, they are back in CAF Champions League action. They will be at home at Loftus against ES Tunis on Saturday with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah.
Keep it tight again and you're through to the final. It's as simple as that.
Simple as that. I mean, no need to overexpose yourself. Just keep your shape. That team is definitely gonna come at you. And Mamelodi Sundowns is a team that we know it can play in transition. We've seen it last season. So it's probably gonna be one of those situations where they're gonna do the very same thing. Just don't overexpose yourself. They've got more to come at us than we have to go at them.
And then they're likely to be chasing AS FAR, Moroccan side, in the final, who carry a 2-0 lead into their return fixture in their semi-final.
Yeah, that team, it's gonna be a problem. That team, and they are quite clinical. I saw some of snippets of their game. Bro, that team is good. It's good. They're clinical. They're quick. They are very good in small spaces. So it's a very, very, very good team. So again, if it's the last four, you expect quality. And also, let's not forget, AS FAR has knocked out the previous champions.
Al-Ahly.
Al-Ahly was
AES Tunis knocked out Al-Ahly. Pyramids, right?
Pyramids, yes. Yeah. So you can tell that they are a good side. So it will be interesting. But is it all lost for ES Tunis?
No, it's not finished.
We just spoke to their fans now.
Yeah.
We bump into them.
Somehow.
It's crazy, yeah. And they're already here in the country, so it just goes to show you.
They're here for Saturday.
Yeah.
They're going to be in Pretoria on Saturday to support their team.
Yeah, so they believe. Yeah. And you could tell in the body language of the team after the 90 minutes that they believe so much that it's not all lost. They gathered around, sort of like do a debrief quickly. You can tell it's a team that is like, let's check this off right now at this field. We still have another 90 minutes to try and rectify this.
It's only half time.
Yeah, it's only half time. So I think we're going to have a cracker on our hands on Saturday.
Back to PSL action on Saturday as well. Orlando Pirates versus AmaZulu. We saw what happened to Golden Arrows at Orlando Stadium.
Yeah.
AmaZulu, good side. Yeah, no guarantees.
Side. No guarantees at all.
But when it's at the Orlando Amstel Arena, I keep saying Orlando Stadium, my apologies. Yeah. Orlando Amstel Arena. In Orlando, Saturday, Pirates have to win. At least go back top while Mamelodi Sundowns is focusing on other things. Have the points, let them have the games in hand. Force them to go win their games, right? You have to.
That's
all you can do.
That's the only pressure that you are going to be able to exert to Mamelodi Sundowns.
We say, chase us down. You've got the games. Chase us down.
That's the only thing that you can do for yourself right now.
Because if you drop points now, then it's just like,
you can just.
What's the point?
Yeah, just
go and leave already.
Yeah, just take that trophy and go drop it off in Glory Cup.
Yeah, that's it.
Because anything less than, I keep on saying, anything
less than winning every game,
it's not good enough for Orlando Pirates.
It's probably already done, but you've got still an opportunity, a loss and a draw for Sundowns.
Yeah.
While their commitments, maybe their focus is on CAF Champions League. You know, it's a possibility.
It's a high possibility.
You've already left yourself the hard task of relying on Sundowns dropping points. Go win all your games.
Just put pressure back to Mamelodi Sundowns to say, okay, you've got your games in hands, rather just win them.
I know we're 2 weeks away from a Soweto derby, but they thumped Chiefs in the last one.
Yeah, they did.
So
it's gonna
you can't tell me you can't go win every game now.
No, you can't. I mean, look, Chiefs is not going to be an easy side to beat as well, but if you want to be crowned the Betway Premiership, those are the games that you have to win.
You have to win all of them now.
You have to win all of them now, unfortunately.
Speaking of halftime in continental football, it's halftime in the Champions League, returns tonight.
Yeah.
Liverpool, they need to turn around a 2-goal deficit, but it's at Anfield.
They've done it before, haven't they?
No, if there's a team that does it, it's Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know, they've done it to Barcelona, they've done it to AC Milan, they've done it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's anything. 2-0 is a very dangerous score. Eh? You put one in the back of the net, it changes the complexion of the game.
Especially if Liverpool score early enough.
Yeah.
And they look good against Fulham.
That's the thing with them. They blow hot and cold.
I think, look, to be fair, Fulham just didn't punish them. Do you know what I'm saying? They leave too much space on the flanks, you know, defensively. This is not what we saw under Slot last season.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the fullbacks pushing up, but then no one's able to cover. And then you've just got wingers breaking wide, able to put in crosses. The defenders are maybe a bit slow to get out and put pressure. So, yeah, in a way, Fulham also just didn't punish Liverpool.
Yeah.
But they did look better at the end of the day. They beat a good Fulham side 2-0 on the weekend.
Yeah.
Now they have to do it to PSG, who were the best team in the world last season.
Yeah, and with the 2-goal deficit. It's going to be mountain to climb, but I think if there's any team that is capable of turning it around, it's Liverpool. However,
they can't concede. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And you've got Ousmane Dembele, Desiree Doué, Kvaratskhelia.
There's a whole lot of quality.
Jose Neves, Nuno Mendes, Vitinha.
Yeah,
You've got...
It's a lot, bro.
Yeah, you've got a good side. Hakimi bombing down the wing there.
That's what I'm saying. It's a mountain to climb, but
it's a mountain to climb.
It's Liverpool.
Yeah. I was talking about PSG being the best team in the world last season. Liverpool were close to the best team in the world last season. PSG knocked them out of the Champions League, but the way they won the Premier League, they finished the league early.
Yeah.
The toughest league in the world. They finished it early. We know those players are good enough to do this.
No, they are. But as to whether they're going to show up or not, with Arne Slot, it's another story.
And top 5's not guaranteed in the Premier League. You might have to go and win the Champions League to be in it again next season.
Yeah, no, it's not. Definitely not guaranteed. It's crazy.
And then Atletico Madrid against Barcelona. Oh my goodness. You and I were sitting in these chairs last week. We said, hey, Barcelona just beat Atletico on the weekend for La Liga. Now they play each other in the Champions League. Barcelona should... No. Simeone said no.
Not today.
Yeah. But once again, in terms of teams turning things around, Barcelona's another team.
There's just too much quality in those teams.
Sometimes
to be able to give us to give a fight. You know what?
I just worry that like your marquee player isn't Messi. Now it's Lamine Yamal, and as talented and brilliant a player as he is, and I don't want to like criticize the guy too much. He's young. He's a spoiled brat, man. He's a bit of a spoiled baby.
Yeah, no, of course.
You know, and it's like, but he's young.
Yeah.
He's a young guy.
I think is,
but like I don't think the mentality is right. Whereas with Messi would get kicked around the field, pull up his socks, and get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, once or twice you'd see it over the course of his career, but for a player who gets kicked around the field the way Messi did, compliments to Messi's mentality all the way through. And
class.
that's why he's one of the greatest players of all time. He's up there with Maradona, Cristiano Ronaldo, Pele, you know, the real top.
Jomoson.
The elephant.
Elephant.
But, you know, that's my only concern is like when your marquee player has that sort of personality. And it's strange to come from their academy to have that sort of...
Yeah, because La Masia is known to produce quality on and off the field, you know, so...
Yeah.
Look, I think he's young, and I think the attention that he has gotten over the years, I think has just gone slightly...
It's not good to be 15, 16 years old and have that sort of attention.
Yeah.
Can't be healthy.
It can't be healthy, you know, but I think he's...
But can they turn 2-0 around against Atletico Madrid? Diego Simeone.
That team can defend, eh?
That team can defend. There's no team in the world. Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
No block. There's no one, not even Inter. Not even Inter, not even Juventus when it was Chiellini, and I don't care. No one can touch an Atletico Madrid team like that.
Yeah, let's see. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. If it's one fixture that I think it's sealed, it is that one. But hey, it's Barcelona again.
It is Barcelona, but I think that fixture's more sealed than any for me.
Yeah.
The Atletico Madrid, they've got a 2-0 lead. It's done.
Yeah, I know.
And then tomorrow night, Arsenal against Sporting. Arsenal with a 1-0 aggregate advantage there, and they're bringing Sporting to their home at the Emirates. I did say I think Arsenal will be in the final.
I think they'll be in the semi-final. I'm changing my mind now.
You don't think they'll go past Barcelona or Atletico Madrid?
If they progress here, I think it might be the end of Arsenal. The mentality, unless something drastic happened.
Atletico Madrid and Barcelona.
They have tanked. Arsenal have tanked.
It's completely gone, at the moment.
Gone. Yeah.
They have to beat City this weekend. We'll get to that, but they have to beat City this weekend to turn it around. They have to. There's no two ways about it. And then the blockbuster. I thought it was such a good game. I thought, first of all, Bayern Munich were tremendous against Real Madrid. 2-1 is flattering for Real Madrid. I think Bayern were better.
They had a lot of opportunities. Olise was just having a field day with, is it Kakaris?
With the left back.
Yeah. I think I can't pronounce his name. You will forgive me.
He used to play for Benfica.
Yeah.
And Manchester United. Kaizer. Marco.
You know him very well.
Yeah.
And
Carreras.
Alvaro Carreras. What did I say?
Caceres. Yeah, that's what. But it's Carreras. He's classy left back player, but couldn't cope.
He couldn't cope.
Yeah, and listen, I think that Bayern Munich team's monstrous, and now Real Madrid have to go to Munich,
to the Allianz Arena,
and turn around a deficit.
It's 2-1 though.
It's 2-1. It's close.
It's close. I think there is a goal or two in Real Madrid. I just don't know how
many they're going to keep out.
Yeah.
If they can keep Bayern out, they can push this game.
They can push
to extra time, penalties. They can go win it.
And if there's one team that will never look at their first leg result is Real Madrid. They're just going to go there and just try and bulldoze themselves into the semi-finals.
Yeah, look, I think Bayern Munich win this whole tournament. For me, I think they're the best team in it, but this is the biggest thing standing in their way for me, is that it's still, if there's a team that's going to turn this around, it's Real Madrid.
Of course.
If you gave me a list of every team in world football and said, you have to go and turn 2-1 around against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, pick one team, Real Madrid, every time. Say pick 10 teams, I'll just pick Real Madrid 10 times.
Yeah. No,
even this Real Madrid.
Yeah, no, bro, you can't write off Real Madrid.
No.
You do that on your own peril.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in Champions League football. Premier League also returned this weekend.
Yeah.
West Ham pretty much pushing Wolves under. Yeah, Nuno's going to be fine, it seems, getting themselves out of the relegation zone. Wolves basically relegated now after that one. They've been relegated for weeks, but I think we're 2 weeks away from it confirmed.
Yeah.
So that pushed Spurs into the relegation zone.
Bro.
Spurs had to wait for Sunday to try and pull themselves out of the relegation zone. Couldn't get a point at Sunderland.
At all.
And looked bad.
Yeah.
And looked bad.
I think Spurs is gone, bro.
It feels like they're gone.
Feels like
they got a new manager in to try and save them. If it was Sam Allardyce or Sean Dyche who came in, then we'd be saying, give him a chance. He's come in to save the club, give him a chance.
Yep. And they're known for that.
So we have to give De Zerbi the same.
Yeah, look, he's saying that
the same mentality.
It's one game, which is the next game, to win, and that will get them to see things in a different perspective. And which I agree with him. They have not won a game of football since last year, December.
If they win one game, it could be 2, 3, 4, very quickly.
That's all you want. And again, in football, that's all it takes. Just get that one win and build from there.
Yeah, absolutely. They have to. And I feel for them, but they've got Brighton this weekend. Brighton
doesn't get better, eh?
No, it just does. It's the Premier League. There's no way where you
fixture.
Look. Maybe Wolves sometimes. It depends which Wolves shows up.
But you're a United fan. You can't say that.
I know. That's why I said it depends which Wolves shows up, because that Wolves that showed up against Man United, exactly. That's a good side. That's a good side. But the Wolves that showed up against West Ham on Friday night,
it's a different story.
So maybe if Spurs looked at the calendar and said, can we swap every team here for Wolves between now and the end of the season? If they could do that, they'd survive.
Yeah.
Because you'd win 4 of those games at least.
Yeah. In the second round, Wolves really pushed, eh?
They pushed. Yeah. They pushed. When they decided they were going to start playing, they started playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brighton this weekend, they need an early goal because Danny Welbeck is on fire. Danny Welbeck should probably be called up for the England squad.
But he won't.
He won't be.
Nah,
I know he won't be. You can't. There's so many good players.
Yeah, I know.
But he's the most informed English striker besides Harry Kane.
Oof. Hey, Marco.
Were you going to put Dominic Solanke in the England team? He can't buy a goal at Spurs.
Shoof. You just like coming to think of it, actually.
Look, everyone's behind Harry Kane. Let's put it that way. There's maybe one striker in world football who I'd choose over Harry Kane. It's only Erling Haaland. Like Harry Kane at number 9. That's your boy.
Oh, interesting, actually.
Yeah. So maybe Danny Welbeck could be at the World Cup.
Yeah. You would have earned it if he's called.
I think so. He would have earned it.
Yeah.
But if Spurs don't score early in that game, the crowd starts to get on their back. Danny Welbeck soaks up a chance. There's some nervous defending. Danny Welbeck's down your neck.
He
breathing
pounds
down.
on those, eh?
Yeah, and he picks it up and he scores a goal.
Yeah.
He's got all the experience in the world. He's got the pace, the physicality. He's quite a big, tall boy as well. He's all over your back. He's a good player. And, he's played for Manchester United and Arsenal.
Yeah, he's a big
club player in many ways.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So if Spurs don't score early in that game and get the crowd behind them and get the crowd roaring.
He comes from United Development, doesn't he?
That's right, yeah. Came from the academy, and then Louis van Gaal let him go to Arsenal because he wasn't part of it, because he wanted to bring Falcao and this and that and whatever. He still went and celebrated a goal against United in front of Louis van Gaal. Good for him.
Yeah, no, look. I think any United fan will forgive him for that.
Yeah. Good for him. We spoke about Liverpool's game against Fulham, but the standout fixture from the weekend has to be Arsenal's choke of a fixture against Bournemouth. They looked lost. They looked dead. Bournemouth looked hungry.
They don't know what they're doing.
They have opportunities that they like sitters that they don't score. The only goal they did score was the penalty.
Yeah.
And that's what Gyökeres needs, a penalty to score a goal, it seems. Arsenal did not look good. And it's strange because they played quite well against Sporting in the Champions League during the week.
Yeah, look, I think, like I said, that downward spiral started when they lost that game to Manchester City. I think that game is one game that they needed to win, knowing that Manchester City is their immediate rival in almost everything except for Champions League. So from there on, it just went south, and it looks like it's
the last 4 fixtures.
It's 4 fixtures on the dot.
League Cup lost to Manchester City. Hardly embarrassing. It's not, they were the better team in the first half, I thought, but second half they crumbled. Then they lost FA Cup against Southampton. Not good enough. They beat Sporting in the Champions League. Let's be honest, the Portuguese league, nowhere near the Premier League or any of those teams. But then lost against Bournemouth. That's 3 losses in the last 4 games. Their form's starting to look a bit like Spurs. It's North London's form. You can't say this is the best team in Europe.
No.
They finished the Champions League group stage as top, unbeaten. Remember that. They haven't. I don't think they've lost a Champions League game. They went all the way to a League Cup final. They went almost all the way in the FA Cup. They were top of the league for 90% of the season. They're still top of the league. But now it just feels like it's all falling apart.
Yeah, it looks like it's all falling apart. And the sooner they get back to it, the better for themselves.
Especially this weekend.
Especially this weekend. Because this now it's becoming like a league decider. If they can't get results on Saturday, is it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday actually. If they can't get results on Sunday, they should at least come out with a point in Etihad. Because anything less than that, you have just handed City the league.
Super Sunday at 5:30. That's Manchester City's opportunity to close the gap on Arsenal and say, here we are.
Yeah. And look, for me, I think Arsenal needs to approach that game as a game of redemption. I don't know if it makes sense. You know? Manchester City it's where when you played Manchester City in the Carabao Cup, sort of like the game that crushed almost everything that you were working on, right? You sort of like now need that game again, and then you are given a second bite for the cherry. And that game is so important for you to win and then increase that gap against a team that, inflicted so much, you know. So I think Arsenal just need to approach that game as a must-win and a redemption game.
Absolutely. Manchester City beating Chelsea, another team that's just flounders. It just disappears. There's good footballers there. I watched that first half. I thought Chelsea were good. They're good footballers. They're good players. And then I think they just don't feel like they play for their club. Like it's just, I don't know.
I don't think it's that, Mark. When I watched that game, second half, it just felt like City just came back different. I mean, the intensity increased. You know, they were pressing, they were pushing, you know, but
I just felt like there was no press from everyone just backed off. All the Chelsea defenders just backed off. Shirky, you want to back off a little bit because if you step in, he'll turn past you, right? But like giving them space to put in crosses.
But that's
and
what
then
happens.
When the cross comes in, you don't even challenge for the ball. What else are you expecting to happen against Manchester City?
I just feel like when Manchester City get in that gear,
they're difficult
to play. We've seen it against Liverpool in the FA Cup. When they just put that gear on, like, you should know that trouble is coming. And every time before they score, you could just see that a goal is looming here.
If I have any advice to Arsenal this weekend, don't back off. Don't back off. Make it tough. Bite their ears off. I don't know. Pull a Suarez. Do what you need. Make it tough for City. Like, just make it dirty. Make it scrappy. Get in tight. Don't give them space. Don't back off. Because if you're going to give them space and back off, they're going to punish you.
Yeah.
That's my advice to Arsenal this weekend. Just make it as gritty as you can, you know, within the laws of the game. Just as tight, physical, hard, tough as you can make it.
Yeah.
Just get in their face. And that's the only way to beat City.
Don't allow City any space to play.
Because the thing about City is that the midfield is slightly empty in a way.
It is.
When they're pushing up, they push so many guys forward. But if you press...
Bernardo is in between.
So if you press and you force the ball,
space.
You'll find some space. If you can win the ball off of City when they're high up, can find the space. And we know Arsenal are a good side. Yes, they're choking, but get a goal, get some wind in your sails, and go beat City this weekend. And then the league's yours.
Yeah,
to be honest.
If they beat City,
the league's theirs.
They would have given themselves a very, very good advantage.
I think so. I think so. What a blockbuster Sunday.
It would be
not much else to speak about other than Spurs getting relegated and the league chase. I mean, Aston Villa sort of dropped some points against Forest. They not in the best form, but they will probably still finish top 5.
Yeah,
depending on how Chelsea do. Man United play Chelsea this weekend as well. That's actually another big fixture that I'm busy going over fixtures here, and I'm saying to you, hey, there's nothing else to talk about. Man United, Chelsea.
Which Chelsea's going to show up in that game?
If Chelsea play how they played against City, United will win that one. If you back off of Mbuemo and Bruno Fernandes and Šeško and give Šeško a free header in the box, come on. Chelsea going to get thumped 3-0 again if they play like that. They better improve.
Yeah, no, of course. But look, I mean,
and that's a top 5 competition match, that one. That's for Champions League next year.
That's for Champions League. It's a big fixture.
It's a big fixture.
In the context of Champions League.
Absolutely. But the 2 biggest games this weekend, Manchester City, Arsenal, and Spurs against Brighton.
Yeah.
Contextually, massive. Yeah. Massive.
Interesting.
Got some news for us.
Hey, man. It's being reported that Eric Tinkler and Skukun have called it a day.
What happened to, what's this one? Cape Town City? What's the thing? What happened to them when Tinkler left? Gone.
Yeah, no, look.
I'm not saying I hope that for Skukune or I think that'll happen, but Tinkler's a good coach.
Yeah. And it's been stable, but I hope they know what they're doing.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, we were like, could Skukune go and win the league?
So, but where are they now? I mean, I think they're still
fifth.
For
Skukune to be fifth.
So what, they're expecting to be what, number 2 or number 3?
Or number 1? I don't know.
It's interesting. Maybe it's...
I know they've dipped, right? They've fallen because they were 2nd, 3rd for quite a lot of the season, right? So now it's dipping at the end of the season. But it's like, listen, who had you there in the first place?
No, of course, you know. No, it's interesting. So
maybe it's personal problems.
That's what I was about to say. Maybe it's reasons other than the.
It's not performance matters.
Yeah,
because the performances have been good enough, more than good enough for what Skukune United should be doing.
Yeah, and in other news, shout out to Union Berlin. They appointed the first female head coach ever.
Oh, this is so stressful for me though, because if she does really badly,
yeah. But it's in the interim. I think she's going to manage, 4 games.
It's just to finish the season.
Just to finish the season, because I think she's appointed for the female side.
Right.
Yeah, and then she's going to...
So she'll take charge of the men's side for the remainder of the season or whatever, and then...
Yeah.
What do you think this does to the opposition managers going into this game?
Yeah, look, it's...
Like, imagine if you're outsmarted, like tactically you lose this game.
Yeah.
Like if it's clear where it's like you went with like a double pivot, whatever, and she managed to come up with a solution for your double pivot,
it's good
and you
for
lose.
Football. It's something that we've always been saying, that women are also capable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's see.
Yeah, I don't think men and women should compete with each other on the field because of the physical differences.
Yeah, no,
I think that makes sense. But in terms of a manager, your understanding of the game, there's no difference.
There's no difference.
So women should be able to manage in the men's game, and
if they are capable.
There's enough men managing in the women's game,
of course. Yeah,
you know. So
that shouldn't be a problem.
Shouldn't be a problem.
In fact, it's a shame that we only have one
in major leagues.
In major leagues
in the world.
Yeah.
Speaking of major leagues,
yeah,
it doesn't really count, but Major League Soccer.
Yeah. What's major about that league, though?
Messi. Messi's the most major thing about that league, I guess. Mbukazi, man of the match performance again.
Yeah.
He's tearing up the United States.
He's becoming famous there. He's becoming like a superstar.
Yeah, in Chicago. Yeah. Chicago Fire.
Look, he's a class player. He's a generational talent. And we all know, and myself and you, we've discussed Mbukazi in length, and we believe that he shouldn't have gone to MLS. But him performing the way he is just proving us, that he shouldn't have gone there. He is way better than MLS. But hey, this could be a springboard to another league.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's a wrap of our global football news there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So, Lali.
Anyway, good luck to Mamelodi Sundowns.
Oh, yes, please. Go win CAF Champions League.
Yeah, no. Go get that second star.
Maybe leave Betway Premiership. Put a smile on this man's face.
Yeah, just leave it for us, man. As if they would.
And come on, Gunners. Please, man. I'm a Man United fan. I'm tired of City winning the league.
Yeah, but who's gonna make these?
The bottles, the bottle factory. Gunners FC.
We need to get back here. See me.
Oh my goodness. No shame, the poor guy. But yeah.
He has to.
If they bottle it, he must come back.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, I'm Marco Martins.
I'm Musuphi.
And this is Black and White Boots.
Danko.
Danko.
Means thank you.